Okay, my friend, be honest. When was the last time you did something just for you? And not because it was on your to-do list, not because someone needed you, but because it made you feel good. It lit you up inside. So if you are feeling a little bit blah today, maybe you've stretched yourself too thin or you're just not yourself lately, then this episode is your reminder that you've got to fill your cup first. Hey, welcome back to the Rise Up Buttercup Podcast. This is where we are talking all about what it really takes to build confidence, trust yourself, and show up like you mean it in life, in leadership, and in your own skin. And today, we're going to talk about something I know a lot of us are guilty of, myself included, and that is taking care of everyone and everything except for ourselves. We get so busy just trying to keep up with work, with family, with texts, with goals, that we forget we are not machines. We are humans, and humans need to rest. We need time to recharge, and we need a moment just to breathe. So let's talk about how to stop pouring from an empty cup and why it's not just okay, but necessary to take care of yourself first, so that you can be there for everyone and everything else. Okay, so I want to take a minute to tell you guys about a moment that happened this past weekend that hit me way deeper than I had expected it to. I was at a music festival in the Outer Banks. I was hired to play a couple of songs just for a few days to unwind, to catch up with people I hadn't seen in years, breathe in the ocean air, get some sun on my skin, which really turned out to be a sunburn. And this was the type of trip that initially I was, playing music. I was hired to do a job. But I also didn't have a ton of things to do outside of playing music. So I was actually able to catch up with people and start to feel like myself again in a more casual environment. So I get up to play music, and something I honestly have not done much of in the last 5 years since launching my coaching business and the podcast and everything else that I've done. And yeah, I'll be honest, I felt a little bit rusty. My fingers weren't as fast. I had not developed the calluses when you play guitar that I had. I think I even got a little blister on my finger at one point because I was so out of practice. And, my transitions weren't perfect, but something really magical happened in this moment. And afterwards, a friend came up to me. We were chatting later in the day. And she had said, I really enjoyed your set. You looked so grounded when you were up there. And I kind of paused. I took a step back and I reflected, thanked her, of course, but said, you know what? You're right. I was grounded. And not because the set was flawless or because I nailed every note in playing, because I didn't, but because I wasn't focused on performing. I wasn't trying to impress anyone or prove anything. I was just there. I was in the moment. I was present. And yes, even though a part of me was still working, I was focused more on the joy of being in the environment that I was in. I was focused more on seeing friends that I hadn't seen in such a long time. I was laughing with people. We were soaking up the energy. We were, spending time with people I truly cared about and remembering a part of me that I sort of had forgotten about, this creative side, this part of me that I get to be when I'm not quote unquote trying to be on all of the time. And that is what really ended up filling my cup. Not the music, even though the music was great, not the crowd, even though the fans and the people there are incredible, but because I had shifted my focus on feeling present. And I shifted to that feeling of presence, of letting go of all of these shoulds and just being in the moment, doing something I love around people who make me feel alive. And here is the funny part about all of this. Even though I was extremely out of music practice, the performance actually turned out to be better because I wasn't overthinking it. It wasn't about perfection, it was about connection for me. And it reminded me that we don't always have to be so polished or perfect in order to be powerful. And sometimes if we allow ourselves just to step back and to allow ourselves to focus on how the situation is filling us up, how we are creating joy, how we are creating connection with the people around us, how we can be present with the people around us, it ends up lighting us up in a way that otherwise would not. Because when we focus just on the to-do list and all the things that we have to do, we miss all of these other beautiful moments. So I want to really dive in today on ways that you can start to remind yourself that it is important for you to also fill up your cup. And this was another part as well from this music festival that I don't think I really got into earlier, was that when I was done playing, I was focused on listening to other performers. I was focused on having some cocktails with my friends. I was focused on hugs and laughing and catching up. And there was a part of that in the past, I had focused so much on the work that I didn't realize I could fill my cup at the same time or even create separation to fill my own cup. And so today, I really want to dive into some stuff for you to support you on being able to fill up your own cup, to be able to be in a situation where you're not running on empty and you're not running on fumes. So, if you have been feeling off, here are a few very simple ways that you can reset. This is nothing fancy, it is just real life, doable stuff. Now, a lot of my clients, when they come to me and they are someone who has been overworked, maybe they've bent over backwards for their family, for their jobs, for everything else outside of themselves, the idea of taking a couple of days off is terrifying. Right? The idea of sitting back and releasing the pressure to perform or work is very unrealistic. And for some of you listening to this today, this idea that I've got to take a whole day, what if the world falls apart without me for a whole day? And I'm not trying to make fun. This is a very real feeling. I felt it. I know my clients have felt it. But we do have this very exaggerated mentality of if I step away, everything's going to just fall apart. Now, I want to put a disclaimer. If you're in a job where things will fall apart, let's be conscious about this. But I think most of us are not in situations where the world is going to fall apart if we take time for ourselves. So instead of encouraging you today to take a whole day off or to take a whole weekend off, I want you to start with just taking 30 minutes. And I want to encourage you to take 30 minutes just to unplug. I want you to shut the laptop. I want you to put your phone on silent. I want you to go sit outside, read a book, watch a silly show that you love, whatever gives your brain a break. And I've talked about this before in one of our blogs that we did about the Pomodoro technique. I have very strong ADHD, and so I work in little spurts, little segments of time where I will work for 25 minutes and take a quick break, and then I'll work for another 25 minutes and take a quick break. Part of this is conditioning your mind, if you are an overachiever, that it's okay for you to take a break. It is okay for you to unplug. So I want to encourage you today, listener, to touch base with yourself, acknowledge any panic that might be coming up with the idea that you actually matter and that you get to take time for yourself. And if it's not panic and it's excitement, then great, dive right in. But I want you to acknowledge how you're feeling, and then I want you to take 30 minutes just to unplug. That's it. Just take 30 minutes and then add on an extra 5 minutes, and then an extra 5 minutes the next time you do it, and then an extra 5 minutes after that. But start to create intentional time for you where you are not working, where your phone is on silent, where you're sitting, where you're reading, where you're reconnecting with yourself. So that is the first tip on how to do this. Now, let's go back to this music festival I just played. Yes, I was there for work, but to be honest, my job is really easy as a musician. I only had to play 2 30-minute sets and then sing a couple extra songs. So I had the rest of the weekend to unplug. Now, an older version of me would have been in my head, prepping for the next set, prepping for the things that I was going to do, practicing my guitar. And I realized that was not the point of this festival. The point for me was to spend the rest of the time unplugging and focusing on the people who lift me up. And that is your second tip today on how you can start to reset. Is I want you to start to reconnect with people who lift you up. Reconnect with people who lift you up. Now, I did not say reconnect with everybody. Not everybody gets to be reconnected with. but I want you to reconnect with people that lift you up. I want you to text your best friend. I want you to call your sister. I want you to go hang out with someone who gets you and doesn't drain you. Hang out with people that fill your cup. Hang out with people that cheer you on. Hang out with people that you can actually be yourself around. And I'll give you another story about this. My best friend, Anna, she lives down in Atlanta. She's a wonderful human being. I've known her for, almost 20 years now. And Anna and I have had such a supportive, wonderful friendship, and a friendship to the point where she actually was able to call me out on moments when I was in front of people or working or performing or, being able to date in a relationship where I wasn't actually showing up as the truest version of me. I was showing up as that performer side of me. I was showing up as that person that was putting on a face for work. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with putting on a face for work. I think it is absolutely important that we are professional. But my friend Anna is the type of friend, and same with my brothers and sisters, they are the type of people that they're family. They are people I can be the most ridiculous version of myself around. I can say the dumbest things. I can act like an idiot. I cannot shower for 3 days, although they'll probably say something about that. But they are the people that I can fully relax into. So when it comes to people that you get to reconnect with who lift you up, I want to encourage you to find the people you can relax into. Because a lot of times when we are in go, 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 we have this raised pressure, this raised sense of urgency that we put on ourselves to get things done, that we forget it's okay to relax. So reconnect with people in your life who not only lift you up, but people you know so well that you can relax into. And these are the people that want the best for you. The ones that are cheering you on, the ones that are encouraging you, the ones that are not draining you. And I would highly suggest, and this is probably another podcast episode, create separation from the people that do drain you. Create separation from the people that do drain you, to be continued in a future podcast. And now the third tip I want to give you. So first, take 30 minutes, start practicing unplugging. If you can take longer than 30 minutes, kudos to you. Some of you are probably listening to this and panicking. So just take 30 minutes for you to unplug. Heck, go into our Rise Up community if you're a member and listen to one of the hypnosis audios for regrounding and reconnecting. And then I want you to reconnect with people who lift you up. People that fill your cup, people you can be your true self with. Those are the people that are going to pour into you. Not people that pull away from you, but people that pour into you and people that love you and care about you just the way you are, that you don't have to be working in front of, right? And now the third tip I want to encourage you to do something that brings you joy just because. Do something that brings you joy just because. I want you to paint if you like to paint, dance if you like to dance, journal, go for a walk barefoot in the grass, do whatever it is that brings you joy. Disclaimer, as long as it's not bringing harm to another human being, but I'm sure you are all aware of that. Do want to put that in there, but do something that lights you up. Whatever your thing is, do it. Not for productivity, but for you. If you like to paint, just go paint something. If you like to dance, turn on some music and dance. Heck, dance down the grocery store aisle. I love doing that, and people look at me like I'm weird, and I don't care. But do something for you. If you like reading a book, read a book. If you love going to a coffee shop and getting a croissant and a hot chocolate or whatever it is, by all means, go do that. And here is why all of this matters. Because if your cup is empty, you have nothing left to give. I'm going to say that again. I know I've already said it, but I really want this to drive home for you today. If your cup is empty, you have nothing left to give. And some of you listening to this are amazing, incredible women that have bent over backwards for everyone else besides you. And it is important that you remember you matter just as much as everyone else. And when you take time to refill your own cup, even just a little, you show up better for everything and everyone else in your life, including yourself. So Yeah, this is your reminder to hit pause, not tomorrow, not when everything is done, but to hit pause right now. In fact, after this episode, if you have time, hit pause. If you can't do it right after this episode, schedule out 30 minutes later today to hit pause. You are not a robot. You don't have to earn rest. And doing something for yourself is not selfish, it is smart. So go fill up your cup however you need to. The world needs the version of you that is alive and not burned out. Let me say that one more time because that sounds great. The world needs the best version of you that feels alive, that is giving, that is empowered, that is charging forward, not the burned out version. Not the burned out version. If you are running on fumes, my friend, you will crash. And I know this because I have been there. So take this episode, listen to it as many times as you need to. Remind yourself that you matter and that it is not selfish to take time for yourself. It is very, very smart. And if you are looking for more support or more tools and more women who get what it's like to juggle a million things and still want to show up with confidence, I want to invite you to come hang out with us in the Rise Up community. We've got coaching, we've got trainings, I've got encouragement to help you rise up in your way. And you can go to ahigherwayofliving.com/rise up community. The description is in this podcast episode. You can look it up. I am sure you will find me. You will find the community. It is a monthly or yearly membership where there are weekly power coaching calls. There is a supportive group of women. We have workshops, trainings, all of this stuff that you get to work on, and the things that get to put you in a place where you are reminding yourself that you matter. So until next time, I want you to take care of yourself. Remember, you are one of a kind and absolutely worth it. And I'll see you on the next episode.